All right, fellas. So we were about to wrap things up, but we just had some news break. Like I just looked on Twitter and see, it appears that Khamzat Chimaev has now retired, due to lingering effects of COVID-19. So, man, this is they like literally just broke this like a couple minutes ago, via, I forget whose Twitter account broke this news, but so let's just give our quick reactions on Khamzat Chimaev, the shortest, most hyped career probably in UFC history.
Here, I'll before we dive too deep, I'll read. This is by Google Translation, and we're having one of our Russian-speaking staff members translate to make sure there's not a word or two lost in translation. That it's a very important word. So this is from Shemaev's own Instagram page. It says, "I want to say thank you to everyone for their support in my path in this sport. I think I'm done. Yes, I know that I didn't take the belt, but this is not the most important victory in this life. Maybe it will upset you, but my heart and body tell me everything. I want to say a huge thank you to my team, All Stars Jim Sweden. I want to say thank you so much, UFC. Alhamdulillah." So that, I mean, COVID is no joke. I mean, that's the very first takeaway that I personally have from this. We knew that he had what was that? I believe they call it, was it post-COVID? Essentially the lingering
Like a
symptoms that,
long hauler, I think
yes,
they is the
yes.
term. Yeah.
This is a fighter who was supposed to fight at the end of last year. He was going to fight Leon Edwards, got COVID, was hoping to recover by January, didn't recover, was hoping to fight in March or February, and he had to pull out because he's in trouble, and said that he was going to be maybe back by summertime if everything goes according to plan. I wouldn't be surprised if this really is it, because, if you can't come back full strength and you've been dealing with an illness so long, that could be it. But maybe at the same time, it's just kind of a frustration at the moment of, oh my God, I can't get a fight. I can't seem to take a good breath. I don't know. I want to turn it over to you guys for more thoughts on it.
Well, I mean, I've gone through the 5 stages of grieving just in the past 8 minutes since we got this news. My first thought before I read the actual post and knew that it was COVID related was, oh, okay, it's either like a tantrum or a negotiation tactic, because, a big name, high level fighter saying I retire on social media without any other preamble is usually, oh, I don't like the deal, my promoter's offering me, or something like that. Once I read the actual post, it is heartbreaking. Even among us who've been kind of like, what the hell about the incredible just hype rocket that he's ridden for the past most of a year, saw that he was a legit prospect. I mean, I think all three of us here were of the opinion, okay, this guy is future title challenger material, even if we think right now is a little bit premature. Even if we thought Edwards was a step too far, all of us were like, it's just a matter of time before this guy gets there. So that's heartbreaking. And of course it is for him more, than any of us. This is his life, his livelihood that is changing. Maybe he'll change his mind if his body tells him something different. He led off by saying, I've got to do what my body tells me. But anyone watching this has probably heard me mention before that my wife is a nurse who's worked at a hospital exclusively with COVID patients for over a year now. And so, she just has seen the worst that this virus can do for a full year. And all of the people, and pardon me as I get in my soapbox, but all of the people who have said there's a 99% survival rate, you're making a big deal out of this. I'm like, 99% survive, but what is their quality of life after they survive? Like, after they are stuck in a hospital for a month and a half without their family being able to visit them, what is their quality of life when they get out? Permanent fibrotic lung scarring is shockingly common. And if that happens to someone like me, and I'm in my 40s and I type in a chair for a living, maybe it's not even noticeable. If I'm a top level athlete and my lung capacity is integral to what I do, it's a life changer. It would be like me losing both of my hands. It makes me angry at the people who continue to minimize the impact of the pandemic. But I mean, that's about me, or at least about my feelings as it is. I am just heartbroken for Chimaev, and his UFC career and what might have been.
Yeah, I think that's a fair way to state it. I mean, such a promising career, such a a promising guy in multiple avenues. Like someone who obviously had the grappling chops. Clearly, judging by his last win, that spectacular knockout over Jared Mershard, had the power in his hands and also captured the fans' imagination. And on top of that, had the backing of the promotion. We've seen a lot of fighters have some of these elements, but it's very rare that we see a fighter have all of them, and looks like that they can capitalize on that, and to have COVID kind of wipe that away is really tragic. But I'm also thinking that maybe this is a temporary thing, because we know that throughout this entire time, Chimaev has still been trying to train. He's still been accepting bookings and whatnot. He's still been trying to act as if everything was normal. And we saw from that video that I believe his management put out, with him like struggling to breathe in between rounds and sparring and stuff like that. He was, that maybe the stress of that has made this worse, has made his symptoms worse, and he simply needs to stop training martial arts, period, for however long it takes for his body to simply recover. If you saw the Joe Rogan experience that featured Cody Garbrandt, and he talked about how when he had COVID, what did him under was still trying to train, was still pushing himself in the gym, and his body not having the time to giving himself a proper immune response. So maybe, end of the year, Chimaev will say, hey, I'm back in the gym, I'm feeling better, let me gain a few more pounds back and let me rebuild some muscle, and I'm right back in there. Unfortunately, though, that means that we'll always have a what if around him. If he goes out there and he underperforms the lofty expectations we all have for him, man, how many people are going to say, man, COVID really changed him forever? And maybe it's true. Maybe it is true. But either way, there's always going to be that gray cloud over his career if he chooses to pick up one later. So it's just sad on overall, just overall right here. So, man, yeah, Jay, go ahead.
2 days ago, Chimaev posted on his Instagram page, thanking the Dana White and the UFC. If we remember correctly, the UFC flew Chimaev out to the States in Las Vegas to get some better medical treatment for it. And he said, thank you. Want to say thank you to Dana White and the UFC, give me medical treatment and taking care of me first class. Thank you. I'm very grateful. See you in June. So, I mean, a lot can happen in 2 days. I think I'm in line with what you're thinking, Ant, that he needs to take some time and, breathe for a minute before,
literally breathe for a minute.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. That was no pun intended, by the way, audience. Yeah, I think I wish the best for him. I hope he recovers fully, first and foremost, before even thinking about fighting. Go day to day, and then we can talk. I mean, he's still just a kid. He's got plenty of time if he recovers fully first.
Absolutely. Yeah, so it's unfortunate. So let this be a lesson to everyone out there. Like, this is very real. There's a reason why we have been living in some state of lockdown for the better part of a year, and why there are, when the US alone, over 500,000 people have died. This is very serious. And just because you say survival rates or this and that, don't be an idiot. There's a huge spectrum in surviving. So wear a mask, be careful, just follow instructions, and maybe we'll see the other side of this. So yeah. So any parting thoughts before we wrap things up, gentlemen?
Just a couple minutes ago, Chimaev posted one of those live stories, and he posted some writing that was translated on Reddit, where it was a sink that was covered in blood. Presumably the conventional wisdom is that he spat or coughed into it. And he said, take yourself and your family. This is the most important thing. The main thing is, I do not know what this disease is, but it is not easily outlived.
Yeah. So the last thing that should be on his mind is fighting. And the last thing that should be on the minds of fans is, man, he needs to get in there and fight. So this is another harsh reminder that fighters are people too. So that'll do it. I think Adonis has decided we are done for this edition of Unleashed. Big thanks to Ben and Jay, as always, holding down the panel. Looking forward to doing it all again next week, post UFC 259. So remember to like, subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend, tell that friend to tell 10 more friends. You can check out Ben and Jay's work on Sherdog.com. You can find me on The Body Lock and MMA On Point. Also did some fight prediction videos for Fightful as well. So go ahead and check those out. Shaq's been posting those to social media lately. Stay beautiful, stay positive, stay safe from COVID, and stay sexy. I'll see you when I see you. Peace.